All right, welcome back to the show. Tonight with the Vail Symposium, tomorrow with the Vail Symposium. Very special event. We have psychic lawyer Mark Anthony in the studio, and Mark and I have been chatting off camera. It's pretty amazing. I've never had a chance to speak with a psychic before. So let me ask you a question. When you look at me, like, are you sensing my aura or something? Do you do that kind of stuff?
I do. Well, everything that I do as a medium is about tuning into frequency. And I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a psychic medium, which means that I have the ability to communicate with discarnate intelligence. In other words, talk to spirits.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, so, and you told me off camera also that this is a fourth generation thing. You had psychics way back, your parents, your grandparents.
Correct.
Their parents. So you think that it's something that people are born with to be able to have the ability to do this?
Yes, I've been studied both here in the United States and in the United Kingdom, and it appears that this is a genetic trait. It's a recessive trait. Both my parents had these abilities. My dad was a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he had this ability.
He had this ability as a Navy SEAL. My mother was a commercial illustrator, an artist, and a fashion model. So it's not like we went, they went around doing psychic readings. It was just part of them. And so I've tracked this ability back into the 1890s on both sides of the family. Reasons to assume that there were people before that, but it's just hard to get the records on that. So it's like, for example, left-handedness is a genetic trait, and it's what's known as a recessive trait, so it may skip a couple generations. But if you have two parents that are both left-handed, the likelihood of one of their children being left-handed increases exponentially. And it's the same thing with psychic ability.
Okay, so my next question, how did you know when you first could do this? Do you recall that moment?
I do. It was more of a period of time. I was about three and a half, and I started talking to my invisible friends. Now, that's generally not unusual for a child to have invisible friends, except for the fact that they were spirits and my parents could see them too. And I remember my mom she was like, oh my goodness, he has the ability. And my dad was like, oh my goodness, he has the ability.
Oh my goodness. Your dad, the Navy SEAL, is like, oh no.
Well, because a lot of people don't understand and they're afraid of it. There's a lot of people that are very religious, think that is somehow negative, but it isn't. This is in my belief a gift from God, and it helps me to show people that God exists, that heaven, nirvana, the other side, whatever you want to call it, Mark, exists, that our soul is an immortal living spirit, and that we can communicate with them. Because what I've found in my work as a psychic medium, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about both tonight and tomorrow night at the Vail Symposium, is consciousness pre-exists the body, comes into our brain, and then after we physically die, it lives on. And nothing is more frightening than when a loved one dies, thinking that the person that meant so much to you has disintegrated into nothingness.
Right.
That simply isn't the case.
Right. So tonight at the Vail Symposium, tomorrow, what can people expect if they show up tonight? What is it's two different events going on, correct?
It is. Tonight, the title of my presentation is Debunking Death, the Science of Reincarnation and Near-Death Experiences. And I'll be explaining how quantum physics can explain the existence of the afterlife, near-death experiences, and spirit communication. Energy neither being created nor destroyed, only transferred from one form to another. And then on Friday night, that's an evening of spirit communication, and I will be connecting random audience members with loved ones in spirit. And
I might be showing up for that.
I hope you do.
Wow.
I welcome you, and I welcome everybody that's listening. Please come, because this is a healing session. This is to help people find joy again, realize that their loved ones live on and are still part of our life energetically.
You have some books. You wrote some books. I want to talk about that real quickly too, because there's some other information out there if people can't make it to the symposium.
I have two books. My first book, Never Letting Go, Heal Grief with Help from the Other Side, is a guide on the journey through grief. It's recommended by grief counselors and hospices worldwide. And my second book, Evidence of Eternity, was up for a Pulitzer.
Wow.
It's now an audiobook, and it explains how spirit communication and the afterlife exist on the basis of science, theoretical physics, human physiology, and it bridges the gap between the spiritual and the scientific.
Okay. Wow, Mark.
It's my
Tonight,
pleasure.
it's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
This is going to be a good one tonight. Vail Symposium, the Edwards Interfaith Chapel. Doors open at 5:30. Program starts at 6. Debunking Death. You can go to vailsymposium.org for more information. We'll be right back with more of the show.